Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you all are doing good. Students, in the previous session, in the previous classes, we have done with chapter number 1. Now, in today's class, we are going to start with chapter number 2, that is binary computing. It's in your book, page number 14 as well. So I want everyone to open page number 15 of the book and let's get started. We are now familiar with the data processing cycle. The cycle consists of the following stages: input, processing, output, and storage. In book 1, we studied the paths along stages along which data travels inside the CPU. We will now look at the form in which data travels. Beta, first of all, they have given you an introduction that in chapter number 1, you guys are already clear with the data processing cycle. Okay, and we all know that it consists of the stages, which is first of all input, then the data is to be processed, and then our output comes, and then we can store it in our storage devices, right? But in book 1, we have already studied about that how is data travel, okay? Which data is travel inside the CPU, which is not travel inside the CPU. But in this book, in level 7, you are going to study that uh, which form is to be data travels, okay? It means that in which form data used to travel. So let's start our topic. The computer, a digital machine. Live we now live in a digital world. You all must heard phrase, but you have ever wondered what it really means. Computers are electronic machines. They understand data in digital forms. Digital data is discrete. Humans understand data in an analog form. Computer needs to translate its uh, along needs to translate along data into a digital form to understand it. If you want a computer to add the numbers 10 and 2, we might type, please add 10 and 2 using a keyboard. But a computer cannot process such a request. It must convert the request into a form that the CPU can process. Okay, students, we all know that nowadays we are living in a digital world. Digital world means that we are using those technology which we haven't used ever before. Okay, it used to save our time, it used to do our work quickly without making errors, right? And now we know that computers are electronic machine. You all know that computers are basically electronic machine. uh, Beta, when we are talking about analog form or digital form, but computer, if we are talking about computers, so computer understands the data in a digital form, right? Digital data is discrete. Digital data is discrete means digital data continuous होता है. ठीक है बेटा, कंटिन्यूस का मतलब क्या होता है? इट shows the result according to the number. I told you in level 5 as well कि digital और analog में बेटा फर्क ये होता है that analog form is something when it is showing the number through the hand. बेटा जैसे अगर हम क्लॉक की बात कर रहे हैं तो क्लॉक टू टाइप्स के आते हैं, एक होती है डिजिटल फॉर्म में और सेकंड होती है एनालॉग फॉर्म में. डिजिटल फॉर्म का मतलब ये है बेटा, डिजिटल फॉर्म में जो है वो आपको हैंड के थ्रू, मतलब जैसे हमारे घर पे जो क्लॉक्स वॉल पे मौजूद होती हैं, इट शोज थ्रू द हैंड्स. हैंड्स के थ्रू जो है वो मूव कर रही होती है और उससे जो है हमें टाइम पता लग रहा होता है. But if we are talking about digital form means those clock which just show the number. It do not have a hand in it. It just show the number पे जो बेटा टाइम मुझे शो करे वो उसे हम कहते हैं digital form, right? So it means that computer understands digital form, but humans understand data in an analog form. Okay, as I told you. Now computer needs to translate analog data into digital form to understand it. It means that beta, I told you that humans understand data in an analog form. Beta human जब अपना data प्रोसेस करने के लिए कंप्यूटर को देते हैं एनालॉग फॉर्म में, तो इसका ये मतलब है कंप्यूटर सबसे पहले उसे किस में ट्रांसलेट करेगा बेटा, उसे ट्रांसलेट करेगा डिजिटल फॉर्म में. ओके, वो बेटा कन्वर्जन किस में होती है, इट इज कन्वर्टेड थ्रू सेंट्रल प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट विच इज सीपीयू. ओके, नाउ कंप्यूटर नीड्स टू ट्रांसलेट एनालॉग into digital form to understand it. Beta, for example, if you want a computer to add number 10 and 2, बेटा अगर आपको जैसे अगर एक एग्जांपल है, अगर आपको कंप्यूटर में ऐड करना है नंबर 10 and 2, so we might, it means that for example we type please add 10 and 2. हम लोग तो बेटा 10 और 2 लिख देंगे, 10 के आगे सिंबल लगा दिया प्लस का और 2 लिख दिया using a computer, right? But when a computer process, so it cannot process according to our language, according to our form. It will process into a digital form first of all, and then the CPU can process the desired product and it can show it on our screen. Now, forms of data. Data is a collection of raw facts and figures. It is often meaningless. Here is an example of data. 37, 37.5, 35, 36, 36.5, 34, 38, 38.5. Data in the form of numbers is called numeric data. Are there other forms of data? But when we are talking about data, so data can be a collection of raw facts and figures. बेटा data जो है किसी भी forms के हो सकते हैं, ठीक है? We know that data is somehow meaningless, but when we convert it, when we assign them some meaning, so it becomes information, right? You have already studied in chapter number 1. For example, if they have given the numbers 37, 37.5, 35, 36, 36.5, so you can easily recognize that this data is called numeric data. Numeric data means numeric is a form of data in which we use to place numbers. All the numbers from 1 to uncountable numbers, these we'll call them numeric data. Okay, now we will learn some more forms of data. For example, as you know, as you have learned that numeric data consists of digits and the decimal point. Beta, numeric data can be in any form. It can be in, for example, 37, the whole number, and it can be in the decimal point as well, 37.5. Then we have alphabetic data. Alphabetic data consists of basically alphabets. Our English alphabets from, it can be capital as well and it can be small as well. Okay, it's given on your keyboard from A to Z. It can be capital as well as it can be small letters as well. Now then we have the third form of data, which is alphanumeric data, and it consists of letters of the alphabet, numbers, and the other special character like @ hashtag and percentage. Because when we are talking about alphanumeric data consists of letters, alphabets, numbers, or बेटा इट मीन्स दैट उसका जो मिक्सचर होगा इन सब का, अल्फाबेट्स का, नंबर्स का, या कुछ स्पेशल कैरेक्टर्स, जैसे बेटा हमें कीबोर्ड में नजर आता है @ हैशटैग, परसेंटेज, ठीक है, डॉलर साइन, exclamation mark. So these all are the forms of alphanumeric data. Now when data is processed, we get information. I told you that when the data is first of all meaningless, but when we assign them some meaning, so it becomes now information, right? Computers process data after converting it into a digital form. But what does data look like in a digital form? बेटा when computer processes data after converting it into, जब वो एनालॉग में होता है और उसको जब हम डिजिटल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं, so how basically it looks like. Okay, I hope page number 15 is clear to you all.